What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another video for you guys. Today we are going to be going through the whole Tottenham squad, seeing who we want to sell, who we want to keep, who we want to loan out, and also we're going to be taking tabs of how much we can get for the players we want to sell as well, and see how much of a transfer kitty we can be playing with for the summer transfers, seeing as we need a massive overhaul and rebuild this summer. But yeah, I think let's get stuck into it. I think we can get quite a lot of money.
We tried it. We tried this last year, and then we didn't end up selling anyone, did we? So we didn't have any money to play with. But let's hope this season it's a bit different story, because we definitely need to raise funds to get any potential players in. Although that was said last season, and we didn't seem to have that much of an issue bringing in some players. But definitely we need to sell, I think, this summer.
Well, you know, seeing as Pochettino's coming in, he's surely going to be giving assurances.
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding. But let's go to the first player we're going to be looking at is Paulo Gazzaniga, obviously on loan at Elche this year. But he didn't really play that much, which was much to my surprise, seeing as I think he's a fine keeper. He's
okay. I think he's decent. I don't think he's anything special, anything great. I don't think he's terrible either. I think he's just an average keeper. So I think if we get a decent offer for him, I think anything up to 5 million, pretty much. I'm selling.
I actually would keep him. I actually would keep him because I think it's hard to find a second choice keeper that's as good as him, that's willing to sit on the bench week in, week out, which he seems to be. You know, he was at Spurs. I think whenever he's been called upon, I think, yeah, he hasn't done amazingly well, but I think he's done his job, and I think he's a much better keeper than Joe Hart. That's for sure.
He's better, but I think it's just Joe Hart's just a bit more convenient in terms of the homegrown quotas. It's easier to have a sub keeper there that fulfills that criteria, and then that's another player in there, and that's something we struggle with. So from that point of view, we don't want to be in another situation where we're looking to only buy homegrown players again and stuff like that. So the difference between Gazzaniga and Hart isn't that great, in my opinion. I think Gazzaniga is better, but if the difference doesn't make up for Joe Hart having that homegrown quota, so that's the only reason I'm going for sell Gazza.
I actually think that there is quite a big gap between them. I believe that Gazzaniga is a much better keeper than Hart, but anyway, we've gone for sell just for argument's sake, and we think we can get around 5 million for him.
If we're lucky, I would say more like 2.5 million.
All right, let's put 2.5 mil. And let's move on to Joe Hart. Like I said, I think Gazzaniga is better than Joe Hart, but we've gone for keep just because of the British quota, basically.
Yeah, he's got another year left on his contract. We're not going to get any money for him, so you might as well keep him as second choice going into next season, and hopefully we won't have to use him much. But I know he wasn't great when called upon last year, but I don't think on the flip side, I don't think he was atrocious either. So I think just keep him for another season, have him as backup, and look for next season when his contract runs out to sign another backup.
Hugo Laurice. I mean, there's only one thing we want to do with Hugo Laurice, and that is keep. I mean, he's by far the best goalkeeper at the club, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. Yes, he's got 1 year left in his contract, but I don't think he'll sign a new contract. I think he's going to run it down for 1 more year, and then we'll probably let him go at the end of next season. Yeah,
that's what it looks like at the moment. I can't see us. It doesn't look like he's going to sign a new contract at the moment. And unless we get an offer of maybe if we get an offer like 12 million, we might consider it. But even then, there's not much point, because with 12 million, I guess it goes towards another keeper. But is that an issue we really want to be looking at this summer to resolve? Because
yeah, we've got too much.
Exactly, we've got so much to look at. I think in terms of Laurice, I think we're better off just keeping him. Unless we've got someone lined up and we have someone in mind, I don't want to be scrambling around the summer for a keeper just to get a few million in for Laurice. I don't think it's worth it. So I think Laurice has been a more than capable keeper this season. I think he had a dodgy spell where people were questioning him, but I think he came through that end of the season very strongly, and I think he had a fine season, and he's still a very, very good goalkeeper. So I think I'd keep him for another year.
Yeah, and I think if we were trying to get a keeper in this summer, I think we would have looked more closely at Mike Maignan, who's gone to AC Milan now. Seeing as he's gone to AC, I can't really think of any other keepers that I'd want to bring in this summer.
It's just a headache we don't need.
Nick Pope maybe, but
it's just a headache we don't need right now.
Anyone that we can bring in right now this summer, Hugo Laurice is better than.
Exactly, that's the point. So there's no point trying to get a few extra million for Laurice when you're going to have, if you want to sign a Laurice replacement, it's probably going to be, what, 15, 20 million?
Maybe
so,
more.
like, there's no point right now.
All right, let's move on to Serge Aurier. We've both gone for sell in this one. Look, he's had his time at Spurs now. He's had his calamities at Spurs.
4 years he's been here.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he was probably our best right back this season, but that's not saying much at all. I think we need to look at this position. We've had to look at it since Kyle Walker's left, basically.
Yeah.
We really, really need to settle down and sort out this position now once and for all.
I think Aurier, as much as he's been more reliable than Doherty, he's still too unreliable. And yeah, he has good performances. I think when he's really good, he can be one of the top right backs there is.
Right back, man.
But he's too unreliable in big games. Like, we can't rely on him to not make any mistakes and like be on top of his game all the time. That's the worry. So I think it's been 4 years now, Aurier, and with 1 year left of his contract, it's time to sell. And I think we're looking at 10 million. I think.
Yeah, 10 to 15 maybe.
We're lucky if we get 15, I think. 12. Let's go 12.
How long's he got left in his contract?
1 year.
1 year.
So I think 12 if we're lucky.
Probably, yeah, you're probably right in 10. Let's go for 10 million for him. Matt Doherty. Get him out the door as soon as possible. I mean, look, we all know the Matt Doherty story this year. He's been absolutely atrocious. His best performance of the season probably like a 6 out of 10. I mean, he hasn't lived up to any sort of reputation that he came with. I would get him out the door as soon as possible. I mean, we signed him for what, 15 million or something. I can't even see us getting 7 for him or something.
I reckon if we got a deal of like 9 million, I reckon we would sell him. I don't think we would sell him because we did. We gave him a 3-year deal. So I think if we sell one right back and Aurier and then replace him, I reckon the club will go forward with Doherty plus a starting right back for next season. That's what I think. But if it was up to me, I would sell him. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's proven anything special right now. Defensively, he's a bit of a liability. Offensively as well, hasn't pulled up any trees, hasn't shown any real quality in the final third. So maybe under a new manager, things could be different. So I'm willing to give him another year. But if it was up to me, I would sell him and get 2 right backs in.
See, I'm not really willing to give him another year. I'd rather keep Tanganga as backup right back than have Doherty as backup right back.
I think Doherty's a better right back than Tanganga.
I actually think Tanganga, when he's played there, has been better than Doherty. But that's just my opinion.
I don't know. Tanganga's had just as bad performances as well at right back.
Maybe once or twice, but I think Tanganga is definitely more defensively solid there at right back.
Yeah, he is. He is more defensively solid. I think Doherty, given if you give him a bit more time, I think he's better than Tanganga right back.
The thing is, though, he's not going to get the time because if we're going to sign a right back, he's going to be first choice right back, and Doherty will probably not see that much game time, probably in Conference League and what have you.
Well, no, it's a rotation game, squad game.
Yeah, but he's
Doherty played even more times than Aurier this season.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
but he's just rubbish. I don't want him for another year. I mean, he's let us down pretty much every time he's come on the pitch. And me personally, I know you're thinking different, but I would actually keep Tanganga as a backup right back as opposed to Matt Doherty. But how much shall we say we can get for him?
I think because he's got 3 years left, I'm thinking like 9 million.
Mugs, whoever pays that. Let's move on to Japhet Tanganga. Look, I've gone for keep. Simeon, I think, went for loan.
I would loan him out. I'll loan him out. I think he needs regular game time. I think at his age, I think at Tottenham, even next season, look, however much we like him, I can't see him being a regular starter next season. And I do think there's a good player in there, but I think he needs to prove himself with regular game time at a Premier League club. So I would load him out. I don't think still don't think he's ready to be starting regularly for Tottenham. So as much as I think he's got potential, I do think a loan move would be the best thing for him next season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, like I said before with Doherty, I'll ship Matt Doherty out and get Tanganga in his backup right back. If we do bring in 2 right backs, then yeah, I agree with you to loan him out. Reguilon. Jacqueline Hyde season from him. Obviously, brilliant first half. very poor second half, but we got to keep him, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a more than good enough left back in there. I know he's had his struggles in the latter part of the season, but I think his first half season was really, really strong, and he was consistently good throughout that part of the season as well. And to end the season with 6 assists as well from left back shows the quality of his delivery and the quality in possession for him. And I think defensively, when he's on point, he can be very, very good. Obviously, when he's a bit all over the place, then then trouble starts, and he can get too excited with things. But I do think he's a quality left back, and I wouldn't look to get rid of him at all this summer.
Ben Davies, we've gone for sell. He's been at Spurs for a while now. I mean, he's one of those players that, he's not going to improve. You know exactly what you're going to get. I think out of all the players we've gone for sell, he's probably like the bottom of the list one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be in a rush to get rid of him, but with Sessegnon coming in, I think if we do get a decent offer for Davis, which is unlikely, I think it is probably time that we part ways with him, because he's been here for, as you say, a long time. I don't really have a massive issue with him being our backup left back to Reguilon, but I just think now could be the time to let go if we get a decent offer.
How long has he got left in his contract?
Not sure, Ben Davies. How long does he have? I probably I'm thinking like 2 years.
If he does have 2 years, I mean, we're going to get between 5 and 10 million from him, won't we?
Yeah, no one's going to pay that much money for him, are they? So he's got 2024, so he's got 3 years left.
3 years.
Yeah, so we're looking at like 10 million.
All right, 10 million. Ryan Sessegnon. Obviously, he's been on loan at Hoffenheim this year. I mean, his Tottenham career hasn't really kick-started yet, has it?
I'm hoping next season it will.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, look, I think the attributes that this guy has, he can really grow into a top player in the Premier League, but it's all about the confidence, all about showing it on the pitch. I think that since he's come to Tottenham, he hasn't shown what he's about, and I think this Hoffenheim loan has kind of reinvigorated him, so hopefully he can come back stronger next year at Tottenham. Yeah,
he seems to have done well at Hoffenheim, so I'm hoping that he comes back a much better player, much more confident player, and someone who wants to compete with Reguilon for that left-back role. I think that's where I see him. I would much rather have Reguilon and Sessegnon there competing, so even if, say, Sessegnon comes in, we don't necessarily lose that pace at left-back, which we kind of do when Davis is there.
And he can play anywhere up that left wing as well.
Exactly. So I want him to be part of the first team next season, and I think he can be a very good player for us in the future. I think, his loan spell's gone well. So I want him in the squad next season. All
right, let's move on to Joey Rhoden. Joey Rhoden obviously didn't get on the pitch as much as he wanted to this season, but he hasn't shown me anything why we should get rid of him, so definitely a keep for me.
Yeah, I think he's been solid when he's given the opportunity. Hopefully next season he'll get more game time, and he'll get more chances, because this season's kind of been stop-start for him. A few chances here, then out of the team, another few chances, then out of the team again. But whenever he's played, by and large, he's been solid. So I think he's for him to be one of our 4 centre-backs, I've got no issue with that for next season.
All right, Davidson Sanchez. Obviously, we're going to go for sell for Dave. Again, been at Spurs for what, 4 years now? 3-4 years?
4 years, same as Aurier, yeah.
He just hasn't got better. He has not got better. He's not improved. And for a defender that we brought in for big money at the time, it's time for us to cut our losses, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sanchez,
get more than 20 probably.
I'm thinking 25, because he's got so many years left on his contract. We paid 42 million for him. I remember, broke our transfer record at the time, and it just hasn't worked out. Let's be honest, it hasn't worked out. Do you think it's what we wanted?
Do you think if a Ten Hag comes in that we keep him?
He obviously played under Ten Hag, didn't he? But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we keep him either way. I don't think we're selling him this summer, but I would sell him if it was up to me, because I don't think we're going to get the fee that we want for him, and then because we don't get the fee, I think we end up keeping him.
But it's only going to go down.
I don't see a Ten Hag like Ten Hag. How's he going to improve him? Because Sanchez just is not good on the ball. He just isn't good on the ball, and Ten Hag with a possession-based football. I know he got to Europa League final with Sanchez there, but he was next to a De Ligt, who's really got a load of composure. Probably has enough composure for both of them to put together. So I don't know. I think I would sell Sanchez. I think it's been too long now, and I think patience is wearing thin in terms of him improving.
Juan Foyth.
So what we're saying 25 million.
25, yeah.
Yeah, 25.
Juan Foyth, obviously been at loan at Villarreal. He could be winning a trophy tonight as well in the Europa League final against Manchester United under Unai Emery. I've always liked Foyth. Ever since he stepped through the door, I've always liked him. Yes, he's had his flaws. Yes, he's needed to bulk up or what have you, but I like him on the ball. I'm not sure if centre-back is his best position. I think maybe a CDM or something like that. But I would definitely keep him because I definitely can see where he can fit into the side, fit into the squad.
I feel like he's like the polar opposite to like Sanchez. Like they're on the opposite ends of the scale in terms of Sanchez is really bad with composure and he's really bad with like ball watching, but he's good physically and he's really good at one-on-one defending and stuff. But Foyth's like the opposite. He's like not that great with physically and one-on-one defending, but he's got an amazing composure on the ball. He's willing to take the ball into midfield. He's got a good passing range, and all that kind of stuff. And I think positionally he's quite good as well. So I like Foyth as well. I agree with you, but obviously he has that release clause, so it's not really up to us whether he stays or not. So I think he will be leaving this summer to Villarreal for about 13 million. Would I keep him? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. I think he will be a good player. And I think right now, I just think the timing is not great. Would I want him as part of our centre back, right back, centre mid? Like I can't see him getting in the team in either of those positions.
The thing is, yeah, he's not going to be a solid starter, but it's a squad game at the end of the day.
He's a good squad player to
versatile.
He's a good squad player to have, but at the end of the day, we'll get a bit of money for him. I mean, look, I like him. I do like him as a player, but I do think he'll go. So I'll probably just sell him and use the money to rebuild things that are more important. All right.
So we'll put him. How much do you reckon we'll get for him?
We're getting 13 million, aren't we? That's the release clause.
All right. Toby Alderweireld, best centre back at the club. I think you have to keep him, don't you? Yeah. I think it's just no brainer, really.
Yeah, 2 years left on his deal. I think he's been our most consistent centre back. And I think he's our best centre back at the moment. So when you're looking at trying to rebuild the defence, I think you got him, you got Rhoden, and hopefully two on top of that, because I think that's a good basis to start from. So that's where I look at in terms of getting the centre backs in. I think Toby's still class. He might not be as good as he was in his peak like 5 years ago, but he's still very, very quality defender. And I think he showed this season that he's still got a lot to offer, a lot to give. And I think with a more physical centre back next to him, who can maybe do more of the running for him, I think they could still form a very very good partnership.
Completely agree. Eric Dyer, sell. I mean, he's even been left out the England squad with Gareth Southgate now, so I think that tells you everything you need to know, really, because he was one of Gareth Southgate's favourites.
Yeah, I think Dyer now it's time has come for him. Even if he didn't succeed under Jose Mourinho, where he had a manager who really believed in him and really knew his capabilities and gave him the opportunity to flourish in a new position at centre back for a long time, and even he left him out of the team for a long time during parts of last season. So, I mean, if Mourinho couldn't get the best out of him, then I think if we get an offer, I don't know if anyone will come in for him. I would sell him and look to rebuild that position again, because I think Dyer's time has come. He's been at Tottenham for a long time as well. I think it came in the same window as Davis came in.
Yeah, came when Poch came.
Yeah, the same window as Davis. He's been here 7-8 years. And for the first 4 years, he was pretty good. But for the remaining, the last 3 years, he's just been poor, really poor.
How much realistically do you reckon we can get for him? I don't think we can get more than 15.
Yeah, I don't think we can get more than 15. I don't think we accept 15. I think the club are going to look for more like 25. That's what I think. That's why I think, again, I've got a really bad feeling that for both Sanchez and Dyer, we're going to price ourselves out of it.
The thing is, at the end of the day, they're going to cost themselves money. because it's only going to go down and down as the
I
years
agree.
go
Look,
on.
I hope they take cut price deals. I hope they take 15 for
I think they're
Dyer.
going to have to.
I don't. I first of all, I don't know if anyone comes in for Dyer, and also I just think. I think the price will be like between 20 and 25 for Dyer, I reckon. That's what I reckon they'll go for. But 15 is the max we'll get. We're not going to get more than 15.
I think with this whole thing that we won't take cut price deals, I think in this summer we're going to have to, because we need to get players out of the squad to bring in players as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. I just hope Levy is aware of that.
Just like Arsenal during the season, where they just got rid of loads of players for no money, basically, just to get them off the wage bill, just to get them out of the squad.
We're not going to cancel their contracts.
No, I'm not saying cancel their contracts, but sell them at a cut fee.
Yeah, I hope we do. Because we need to rebuild and leave space for the squad. But that's been one of our problems sometimes, not taking a deal because we will keep wanting the extra few million. And that's always been a failing.
Things are going to have to bloody change, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, the General, I mean, absolutely phenomenal season from him. The only downside is that he was overplayed, but with Ollie Skip coming back in for next season, that shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Yeah, you got to keep Højbjerg, I think. I don't think we're going to sell him unless we get a monstrous offer. Because I do think, look,
what Roma come in for with 100 mil?
Look, as much as I like Højbjerg, I don't think he's like a world class player. I really don't. I think he's a quality player, but I don't think he's like elite.
I agree.
Unfortunately,
I agree with that.
But obviously he could easily be a very important member of a good team. I don't think we need to sell him. But if we do get a ridiculous offer, I think we like, for example, 60 million or something.
That offer's not coming in.
Like, I know it's not. I'm just saying, if we do for some reason get an offer like that, right? If someone's desperate to get him, like, I do think it would be the smart thing to sell and get a better player there. But I think for now, I think Højbjerg is more than good enough.
Who do you think is a better player, Højbjerg or Bissouma?
On the ball, I think Bissouma's a better player. Off the ball, I think Højbjerg probably offers a bit more than Bissouma, but Bissouma also offers quite a lot. But I think quality on the ball, Bissouma's a better player.
All right, let's move on to Harry Winks. We've gone for sell.
Yeah.
The ultimate Winks apologist, even going for sell. Can you believe it, guys? Can you believe it? But how much do you reckon we can get for him?
Again, after the season he's had, if you're 2-3 years ago, you're talking 30-40 million. But now, again, similar to Dyer, you can't really get more than 15. I don't think between 15 and 20.
Well, how old is he?
25.
See, he's not old. You know what I mean? His contract expires 2024 as well.
Yeah, it's another 3 years. But again, I can't see anyone stumping up 25-30 million for him this summer. I really can't. I
could see like a Southampton giving us 15-20 million.
That's what I'm saying, between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
So maybe like 18, something like that. Okay. That's what I'm saying for Harry Winks at the moment.
I think 18 million would be a great price for Harry Winks.
It would be. But I'm saying, as I said, 2 years ago, you're looking at between 30 and 40 because he's so young. He was an England regular. He was playing well. So that's the price you were looking at a couple of years ago. But it's dropped significantly, and especially in the pandemic as well. I can't see any more than about 8. I reckon 18, something like that. Maybe you can convince someone to sign him for that much money. I just think he's had such a horrific season, Winksy. I thought last season he was okay, but this season I think he's just dropped off a cliff, and I think his priorities are wrong. I think his head's not in the right space, and unless someone gets him back on back refocused, I think it's better to sell.
Completely agree. Ollie Skip, obviously we mentioned him when we were talking about Højbjerg. He's had absolutely astonishing season with Norwich, and I'm so looking forward to having him back in the squad.
Definitely needs to be part of the first team next season, and I can't wait for him to be a part of it. Homegrown player, cares about Tottenham, is going to give every single ounce of energy for the team, and I reckon he's going to see a lot of game time next season. So I'm looking forward to that. So definitely keep.
Moussa Sissoko. I mean, we've gone for sell.
Yeah.
With Moose, but how much do you reckon we can get for a Sissoko? How long has he got left in his contract?
I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 years. 1 sec.
France regular, called up to the Euros.
2 years. So he's got another 2 years left. He's got 2 years. 2 years
I don't think
left.
we get more than like 7 million or something for him.
Again, I think between 7 and 10.
32 years old he is.
He's 31, going to be 32 in August.
Yeah.
So he'll be 32 in August with 2 years left. But he is 32, and he has had a very poor second half of the season, but he's one of those players who's still like physically got a lot of attributes. So whether...
But does he though?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Because he hasn't shown that at all in the second half of the season.
No, he hasn't. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have him.
I mean, I think he's declined so much as a footballer this season. It's actually unbelievable. Like,
as a footballer, I don't think he's declined.
Well, just as a, when I say a footballer, I mean his physical attributes, what he offers on the pitch.
I think it's more mental than physical.
It could be, but I mean, it's just time to get this guy out the club.
Yeah,
man.
look, his quality has always been lacking. We know that, and if he's mentally not on top of his game, then his standards start to slip in other facets of his game. Then he becomes a truly terrible player. So I think he needs a new challenge. He needs a new environment. I don't think Spurs is the best place for him right now. So I think he's been here for a while as well. We've signed him for 30 million. Yeah, I reckon 10 million. I think we're looking at 10 million.
Really? You think we can get 10 million for him?
Yeah.
But who the hell signed off on giving him a contract till he was 34 years old?
Yeah, I don't know who did. Levy did, obviously. Ridiculous.
What manager gave him that contract?
I think Mourinho.
Or was it Jose?
Yeah, I think Mourinho. But yeah, I reckon we're looking at 10 million for Sissoko. Maybe a team in France could convince a team in France.
I think 10 million is a stretch, to be fair. Tanguy Ndombele.
Yeah, you got.
You got to keep him. The pure attributes he has. I mean, technical ability second to none. Yes, his attitude can do some improving, but I guess we just got to see if the new manager can kind of squeeze that out of him.
No, quality wise, you got to keep him. I think he's we know how good he can be. Another season adjusting to the Premier League, and I think he's done a fine job for the majority of the season. I think under a new manager, hopefully we can see even him hit even greater heights. So, especially with an attacking manager who likes to be on the possession base more on the front foot. So, definitely keep Tanguy.
I thought when we bloody signed Tanguy and Ndombele and La Celso and them lot, then we'll be sitting here talking now that they would have been played under 3 managers. We'd finish 8th.
I know.
It's just too much, man. Let's move on to Giovanni La Celso. We're going to keep him as well. I mean, he hasn't had the greatest of seasons this year, plagued by injury, but I think that the attributes he has and the quality he has and the technical ability that he has and also the attitude and desire that he has, I think it's definitely worth keeping him, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm calling for a bit more patience with La Celso. I know he's been here a couple of years and he's had injuries and whatnot and maybe a bit of patchy form, but I think he's a seriously talented player, seriously good player, and I think even against the best teams he can turn up and be really, really good. So I think next season, hopefully, I'm hoping he can kind of explode a bit, be a really big player for us, and I think people don't write him off so quickly. I think he's going to be a really big player for Tottenham, so definitely keep him.
All right, this is going to be a big one. Dele Alli. We've actually gone for keep. Obviously, he's had a nightmare couple of years, hasn't he? But I think that what he's shown in his career is that he can be the X factor. He can be the X factor. You know, at what was it, 20 years of age, 19 years of age, he scored 18 goals in the Premier League. So if someone can just unearth that in him again, then what a player we've got on our hands. A fan's favourite. Even now he's a fan's favourite with him not playing well. You know, you saw at the Tottenham Stadium, everyone singing his name. You see at Wembley, everyone singing his name. So, I mean, if we can just kind of reconfigure his mind to get back to his best, then we've got a top player on our hands.
I mean, we do say this every year, to be honest.
We do, but I think maybe this is the last season.
You would have said that last summer.
I know, but I think that with Jose Mourinho coming in, it just wasn't a match made in heaven, was it? With Dele Alli,
you weren't saying that after
Jose.
his first few games.
That's true. But after what happened, then you can say that.
Yeah, I mean, Dele has been off form for you could probably say up to 3 years now. He's been off form. To be honest, if we get an offer for him for around 45 million, I would sell. But because I don't think we're going to get an offer suitable for someone like Dele, like I wouldn't sell him for 30 million. I think he's got so much potential to, like, if he has a half decent season, to his value to skyrocket again. But I think it's worth keeping him around and worth with the quality he has, and if he's willing to start working really, really hard for the team again and if we ever manager who can get him on side and get him playing, he's definitely worth having around. But if we do get a good offer for him, for me, if we do get a good offer, I would sell him. I would. If we got a suitable offer around 45 million, I think it might be worth cutting our losses and trying to get in a replacement.
Let's move on. Jack Clark. Had 2 loan spells this season, one at QPR that didn't really work out, one at Stoke, which did go a little bit better, but still didn't really knuckle down like a starting berth or anything like that.
We signed him for 10 million. I don't know what we were thinking at the time, splashing this money around, and he ain't going to be part of the first team next season. I think it's probably the most likely scenario is another loan deal. I don't think because we signed him for 10 million and probably on a fairly long contract, so I don't think we sell him for very cheap. So probably another loan deal to try and get his price up. But I would definitely sell him if anyone comes in for up to 5 million. I would sell him.
All right. Eric Lamela, we've gone for sell. How much can we get for Lamela? I mean, 1 year left in his contract now.
Yeah, but you're looking
Played
at
with injuries since.
Yeah, you're looking
Tottenham.
at between 7 and 10.
Yeah, I think if that even.
Yeah, I think so. I think a team in Italy might spend that. Might spend maybe 8 million.
I'll put him down for 8 million. I mean, with 1 year left in his contract, with his injury record, I mean, I don't know. I think.
Yeah, but he's highly thought of in Italy, so I think they still think he's a very good player. So I mean, I think he's a good player. Even this season, I think he's done well, but unfortunately, he's been here for nearly. What is it? He's been there for 8 years now, and he's just been plagued by injury every single year. And it's just, there's only so much you can take before you think, look, he's taking up a squad space by always being injured when we can have a different player in there. And as much as I think when he is on the pitch, I do think he's okay. I think he's pretty good, but unfortunately, it's just not enough for what we need. And I think it's time we open up that squad space again.
Completely agree. Steven Bergvine, we've gone for keep. Mainly because of his age, the attributes we've seen him show, and yeah, I think he can be a really good player. I just think he's had a really bad season this year in terms of the way he's finished his chances, but I think he has shown good attributes on the pitch.
Yeah, look, he's clearly had a big knock of confidence. You can see in his last couple of appearances of the season when he is confident and he is and he's confident taking on his man and things like that. He can be a threat and he can be a very very good player. But unfortunately, for a lot of the season, things haven't gone right for him. I do think he has a lot of quality. I think he's definitely one who can be a good player for us under a new manager. And I wouldn't cut our losses on him just yet. I know it's been 18 months since he came, and apart from maybe the first few months, he hasn't really pulled up any trees. But I still think there's a very good player in there. And again, another one I'm calling for a bit of patience and one who could look very different under a new manager.
Yeah, Lucas Mora. I mean, we've gone for sell because he's been at us for a long time, and I think that with the money that we can get in from him, we can bring in a proper starter that's going to be consistent. Because I think we all know the qualities Lucas Mora has, but the problem we have is that he's sometimes frustrating on the pitch and wasteful, and he's not as consistent as we would like. Yeah,
in terms of comparing Lucas to Bergvine, with Bergvine, I think there's a bit of a ceiling where he has got a lot more scope to improve. He can get a lot better, but with Lucas, I feel like right now you've got what you've got, and what you've got is a very high quality player who's very inconsistent, and he's been at us now for about 3.5 years. He's had very very high highs and very low lows since he's been at Spurs, and unfortunately I think if we do get an offer of around 20 million, I would say between 20 and 25, let's say 22 million, I think we sell, because I think, and it's another one where...
Do you think that's realistic to get 20 million for him?
Potentially. I
think probably around the 15 million mark.
I reckon maybe we could convince someone to get 20, 20, 22.
Can't see it, to be fair.
I don't know. I don't know what the market's going to be like this summer, but I reckon 20 million we can probably convince someone. And so that's the ballpark I'm looking at for Lucas Mora.
I'll put him down as 20, but I think it's a bit ambitious. That's 20, and then we move on to Gareth Bale, obviously on loan at the moment, but we do have an option to take him up for the second year. Bale has said he knows what he's doing next year, and it's going to cause chaos. A lot of rumours flying around that he's about to retire at the end of the
Jonathan
season.
Barnett said today that's absolute bollocks.
Oh, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He said on Talk Sport.
And
rumours of him retiring after the Euros are absolute rubbish.
Good. The thing I get from him saying that he's going to cause chaos is him going back to Real Madrid, but I can't see why he would go back there.
I just think It's more, again, I haven't seen him actually say the quotes because, again, I've said this before, the quotes written down and him saying it are very two different things because you can definitely read two different things out of here. What I just think is he knows right now the plan is to go back to Madrid after the Euros because there's no deal. Right now...
I thought he said he knows what he's doing next season.
Not next season, after the Euros.
Right.
So he knows what he's doing because right now he's going back to Madrid. But if he says that, people say, oh my God, he's going back to Madrid, oh, disrespecting Spurs, all this kind of stuff. That's where I think he's making a reference to what happened last time. Last time he said something which I thought was pretty nonchalant. Everyone kind of ran with it and went crazy with it, in my opinion, which was a pretty standard statement. And I think that's what he's saying again. He's pretty much saying he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't want to say it because it's going to cause chaos. And right now, what he's doing is he's going back to Madrid and he's probably going to wait till the deal comes in place. And look, I'm not saying that Spurs definitely are going to sign him for next season or there's definitely a deal, but I'm just saying right now he does know what he's doing because we haven't activated the clause or whatever. So he's going to probably assess his options for now. I would keep him. I think he's proven in the short amount of time he's been on the pitch that he's still got a lot of quality to give. He still can be a devastating player in the final third. So I think even if he comes in and he's not a definite starter every game, he's definitely more than worth having around in the squad. And we saw against Leicester last 15 minutes what he can do coming off the bench when the game is stretched. So unfortunately he hasn't done that enough this season, but I think I'll bring him back for another year because I don't think you can get that quality for the price that we're getting him for.
Yeah, man, I've been saying it for the last 2-3 months. It's a complete no-brainer to take him on for that second year. It's a no-brainer. You can't get someone with world-class attributes like he's got for the money that we're going to pay for him. You just can't. And as well, someone who has affinity with the club as well. Heung-min Son. Obviously, we've gone to keep and we just want him to sign that contract as soon as possible.
What do you do if he don't sign the contract, though?
I think we have to sell him if he doesn't sign the contract. Unless you take the risk of keeping him and
going into his last
year, but trying to convince him in this year that we're going places.
Right now, he's probably worth around 80. And then next season, if he doesn't leave with 1 year left, it probably drops to around 40.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. But look, I think.
And then 6 months later, he'll be
there
worth
doesn't
like
seem
15.
to be many. There doesn't seem to be any talk really of him leaving or wanting to leave or anything like that. So I do think it's probably more likely than not he signs a contract. But obviously, with it rumbling on and nothing happening, it causes a bit of anxiety, and we don't really know what's going on. Hopefully, he signs it. Obviously,
this contract has been talked about for ages now. Like
Ali
Gold has said, yeah, he's going to sign, and Romano was like, yeah, he's going to sign, and nothing's been signed.
Hasn't been signed it, so it's worrying. But on the flip side, it's not like no one's saying, oh, he's not going to sign or he's not happy. Doesn't sound like there's any threat of him not signing. So I don't know what to think about it at the moment. He
probably wants to sign and his dad probably doesn't want him to sign.
Yeah, probably. So look, I think hopefully he signs and we keep him. That's the main thing. So hopefully Son stays at Tottenham this season. I think this season's been his best season at Tottenham, and hopefully he goes from strength to strength next season. So yeah, I'll definitely keep him.
All right, Vinny Goal, he's got 45 million clause that we can sign him. So obviously that's not going to be taken up. Can you see us taking up another year on loan or buying him at a cut fee?
No.
Maybe later in the window if we can't get any targets.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe give it another go. I don't think we've been convinced by him. I think he's done all right in the Europa League and whatnot, but I just don't think the Spurs squad or hierarchy are convinced he's going to be a striker for us for the long term, and it looks like they're going to go in a different direction. So as much as I think he's pretty much done his job since he's been here, I don't know if he's the right fit for us. So I don't think we'll sign him for next season.
All right. And last but not least, it's Harry Kane. I mean, everyone knows what's going on with him at the moment. Obviously, we've gone for keep because he's just central to exactly. He's just central to everything that we do.
But you could be looking at adding like 150 million to our transfer kitty if we do send to sell. Yeah. So I guess we can readjust for that if we do sell him. But obviously, player of the season, best playmaker, best striker. He's just the best player in the league, in my opinion. So if we can keep him, we're going to have to try our best to hang on to him, and we have to keep him at all costs, pretty much. Because if we sell him, we can sell him, but you need to sign like 3 players who do what he does. So that's always going to be the difficult thing for Kane. Yeah, you can you can add more to the squad and whatnot, and you can get a bit of a cash injection. But what you lose with Harry Kane, you can't buy. You just can't buy what you lose with Harry Kane. So you got to keep him.
Do you really trust our recruitment team to spend that money wisely anyway?
Definitely not.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the squad. Let me just run through the players that we are planning to sell to show how much money that we are potentially going to raise. So Gazzaniga, going to sell him 2.5 million. Aurier, 10 million. Doherty, 9 million. Davis, 10 million. Eric Dyer, 15 million. Sanchez, 25 million. Winks, 18 million. Sissoko, 10 million. Lucas Mora, 20 million. Lamela, 8 million. And that would raise us 127 million. Not even as much as Harry Kane.
Literally. So you could
it's like 12 players can't even get us as much as Harry Kane.
So you could be adding, so it's either 127 million with Harry Kane or 270 million with Harry Kane. So without Harry Kane in the squad.
Yes, man.
So imagine having 270 million to spend. That would be quite a big kitty.
But how much would we have to spend on just replacing Harry Kane out of that kitty?
You're looking at between 80 and 100 probably.
Maybe
if for a really good striker. Yeah, you're looking. Well, then again, they're saying that Inter Milan are going to have to sell some players. So maybe that Martinez could be on offer, or Lukaku,
and also Lille.
And Lille as well.
Are also going through financial problems.
They are.
And
they've got some good players.
Galtier's just left them.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just won the league, and it's all falling apart for them already.
Very strange. But apparently, Sven Botman's going to stay. That's what they're saying. But 127 million. Let me know. I want to know what people think in terms of, is that enough money? Do we actually need to sell Harry Kane to rebuild the squad, or is 120 million, if we get everyone out the door that we hope to, is that enough to kind of start replacing? So how many players is that?
12.
So how many players actually left in the squad after that?
17 keep, 12 sell.
17 keep, so 17, and it's a squad of 25.
Well, we added a few more in there because of the loanees coming back. So Foyth. Let me just count them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
That's a squad of 20.
No, that's, wait a sec. 25, 26, 20, 28.
That's 28 total there.
Yeah.
And how many selling? 8.
We're selling 12 of them.
12. So squad of 20, and we're selling 12. Bloody
28.
Hell. Squad of 28, we're selling 12, 16. So we need to get another 9 players in for 127 million.
Basically.
Not going to happen. No chance 120 million is enough for 9 players. So we're going to have to make some concessions in somewhere. Can't sell all those players.
And even though the players here, I think that some of these prices are quite ambitious as well. So I don't know.
There's no chance we can replace all 9 of them with just for 120 million. It's not feasible. So I reckon some of those players are going to end up staying. I think Doherty's going to end up staying.
Yeah, I think probably Davis will end up staying.
Davis will end up staying. I think that's 2. I think one of Dyer or Sanchez is going to end up staying.
And I think probably Lucas might end up staying.
And I think, potentially Lucas might end up staying. And I think one of Winks or Sissoko will stay as well.
But they might cut their losses on Dele Alli this summer.
Potentially. A lot of movement to be had, but it's going to be interesting. Look, it's a very, very big summer ahead, so it's going to be very interesting how it all plays out.
All right, so that is your keep or sell video for this summer. Obviously, we did bring you one last summer as well. I don't think we were close to anything like what we thought was going to happen.
Well, I think we didn't sell anyone, did we? Who did we
didn't.
sell?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We weren't close to it at all. But look, that is your keep or loan video for this transfer window. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are regarding the keep or loan. Who do you want to keep? Who do you want to loan? Who do you want to sell? And let me know who you want to bring in as well, and how much do you think we can raise this summer, seeing as we want to get rid of quite a lot of players. But anyway, like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.